Hello, beautiful souls. This is Vanita Kumar, also known as Twinflameunion, bringing you guys in the pep talk and empowerment. This week's topic is a little bit different. It's not actually a topic. It's going to be quick, rapid questions and answers. Now, the questions have been asked by a bunch of group members from the group that I have, Twinflameunion group. So they compiled a bunch of questions. I haven't looked at them myself, what they are. My moderator was very kind enough to just compile all the questions and email it to me. So I haven't done any cheating. I have no idea what that is. So I've done this in the past many times, just in the group. I haven't actually done it here on live camera, and I've actually done that in live camera as well, just in the group. But because I'm actually now on YouTube, I'm going to be actually just bleeding everything through the YouTube. It's just reaching a wider audience, as well as not everybody's in the Facebook group, or they're not on that kind of platform. So it's easier to just throw it on YouTube so that it actually reaches a larger audience. And this kind of quick question and answers actually assist a lot of people in their journey. So it just there's only so much articles you can write on each and every topic. So sometimes, you know, these kind of quick questions and answers actually give a little bit of a better understanding. And if there is any blogs that actually pertain to the questions that are being asked, I will definitely just put that in the description. But before we actually dive deep into the questions and answers, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, please hit like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell for any future videos that you may actually encounter. I do guided meditations, I do collective reading for once a month, and as well as the pep talk empowerment, which is actually every other week or weekly. So I've got quite a bit now compiled in there. There's some really good topics that I've actually chosen. So have a look at that as well. And if you need to book a private session with me, you can do that directly from my website. The link is in the description box, so have a look at that, and you can go ahead and do the booking from there. And if you need to follow me in any of my social media platforms, all that stuff is also in the description box. Like I said before the intro, that I'm gonna be linking any blogs that will pertain to these questions, if there is any. So I usually do that in the pep talk. So I haven't seen what they are. So we'll, without any further ado, I am gonna just dive deep into this and see what's the questions that were brought up. I didn't actually print these, so they're straight from my email. My moderator ended up setting it up for me. So let's have a look here. I hope that I can find her stuff. So the first question that I've got here is, we've got Kia that's asking, why do we choose to be a twin flame if we did? Now, this is a very deep question. Holy moly. Why did we choose to be a twin flame? I see there's so many theories with that, and I don't know which one is accurate. So personally, I just go with what I feel makes sense to me. So there's a couple of theories. One is that everybody's a twin flame, and they all have a twin flame soul, and that could very well be, but the theory with that goes is that if everybody's a twin flame, then some didn't choose to live a twin flame experience in this lifetime. To an extent, I actually do resonate with that theory. It makes sense. If every soul has a twin flame or label, or if they've got a twin soul, that kind of part makes sense, but not everybody chooses it to be a twin flame in this lifetime. That's where it kind of gets tricky, because if that's the case, then yeah, sure enough, that kind of resonates in a way. I know this is sort of a well-rounded answer here for that theory. And the other is that back to this original question, why do we choose to be a twin flame if we did? I want to say that because of that theory that everybody is a twin flame, then the only reason that we are twin flames in this lifetime is because we chose to be a twin flame in this lifetime. So I want to almost agree with that theory, because that makes sense, that if everybody is a twin flame and they've got a twin soul, not everybody chooses to live that experience for this lifetime. They may actually use that for another lifetime. Who knows? We only know about this lifetime and what it pertains to us. All I know is that just dealing with thousands of twin flames, for the last 2.5 years, what I do know is that not everybody chose, and that's a fact, and you can actually resonate with that not everybody has chosen to live a twin flame experience, or they're not awakened to the journey. The only ones that are living the twin flame experience is the ones that actually chose to live that twin flame experience in this lifetime. So it's sort of kind of goes in a little bit of circle, but that's just the best way that I can explain it, because if you look around in your just your relatives, your friends, your family, you will notice that they don't resonate with what you're going through, because they're not having the twin flame experience. They don't have a counterpart. They don't have a twin flame. So it's sort of like that, if that makes sense. They're not living that soul experience. And another thing I want to add to that is that not everybody that's spiritual will be twin flame automatically, because I know so many people that are also living a spiritual life and a spiritual path, a soul's journey, but they are not twin flames, because it's a very, very specific soul contract that you pre-signed before you actually incarnated. So it kind of goes back to that the first theory, that if you were a twin flame, you chose to have that twin flame experience in this lifetime, right? So it's hard to say. I've done a little bit of past life, so it doesn't. Your soul just only gives you bits and pieces, even on past life situations. They only tell you what you need to know, because they don't give you too much information. So it never. You can never figure out whether you were actually living a twin flame per se, like experience in that lifetime. It never has been revealed to me, and I don't know if anybody else has actually encountered that in their past life as well, because again, your soul will only show you little bits and pieces, whatever needs to be addressed. So yeah, it's what you chose. You chose to live this experience. You chose this journey before you incarnated. So that is your higher self. That was at works, and your twin flame was part of that, right? So yeah, you definitely chose to live this experience. I want to say that it almost is, to me, again, I can't go back so many lifetimes to know what was the, you know, original soul contract. But I almost want to feel that we actually chose to live some of the experiences, you know, and the twin flame experiences over a lifetime course, because there's so many lifetimes that we've had with our twin flames, right? So if you've done your past life digging, this is why I always talk about past life. You know, if you know me well enough, you know that I actually do talk about that a lot. Then you see the history as well. So so yeah, it kind of makes sense. If we didn't actually write this contract, we actually wrote the original contract in the, you know, in the beginning of the soul formation, and then you know, we just kind of lived a few lifetimes along the ways, and gained, definitely each lifetime was soul experience, because that's what you want, you know, on a soul. And I've talked about this many times, that on a soul level, you know, you don't really experience anything. Everything is hunky-dory in a bliss form, right? So the only way that you can actually experience you know, emotions and soul growth and expansion is actually in human body. So this is why, you know, we incarnate in human body, so that you can actually experience all of this sort of things. So yeah, back to this question, you know, you actually did sign up for it long time ago. I want to almost say, you know, that it was before even this lifetime. It was probably the original lifetime of that formation, when you actually split from source. So I want to say that that's when you decided to live the twin flame experience. And sometimes you know, there's been many times where, and that would almost make sense to me because of what past life work that I've done. I know that not every lifetime I've actually incarnated with my twin flame. You know, there's been times when I haven't actually incarnated. So I think that, you know, each lifetime you almost choose, you know, to have that twin flame experience, and then that's when your counterpart is available, you know, in that particular lifetime, right? So so for your highest and greatest good. So that's what I want to say is the story. Oh, she actually wrote another question to this. Did one pick who their twin flame would be? I don't think you can pick that, okay, you know, I want this person to be my twin flame, I want that person to be my twin flame. It doesn't work that way. The originally, like I wrote a blog on that, so I'll actually link that. And I think that was the difference between all the soul contracts. So how it works is, you know, you had this big ball of you know, fire, you know, just imagine it as that, right? And that would be the source, you know, almost like the sun. And then, you know, you had little fragments that actually just kind of came off, and from there you had one big, you know, like a little ball, and then that actually split into two, and that was you and your twin souls. So you don't really get to choose who your twin flame will be. So in that theory, it's definitely not that you can just say, hey, I want you to be my twin flame and I want you to be my twin flame. So it doesn't work that way. And same thing goes with soul monads. You know, your soul group, they see the way that it's sort of like interconnected. They're not your twin flame, but they are still from your soul monad. So you know, and I've never really understood it all that much to explain it too much. But all I know is that, you know, you've got a cluster of you know, group. It's actually group, right? So those ones will be your you know, it could be your soulmate, and they could be your brother, your sister, your friend, or a romantic partner, you know, all that sort of thing. And they actually assist in and they could be also your guide team, right? So because they're all part of that soul monad, and you know, they come in little you know, little clusters of groups. So, and how they come in the dynamics, I'm not sure, because, you know, who knows how that would have worked out, you know, because that's such a deep thing, right? You know, we only can figure out what is happening here in our lifetime. So anyways, yeah, but that's also part of that too. But yeah, the twin flames definitely, they didn't get to choose each other. It's, you know, and I know why people are asking this question, because they're so freaking fed up of their twin flame, and they think, and then it's the ego side that's asking, you know, why the hell did I choose this journey? Why did I choose this stupid twin flame that doesn't want to give me time of the day? right? And it's the frustration working. It's the ego side of that, because yeah, it doesn't really work that way. It's you know, it's what was destined, and that's definitely part of your, you know, your soul fragment, right? So and this is why it's so painful to deal with them, because they are you in, you know, in another embodiment. So so yeah, a lot of things that show up in your journey, you know, where it's pertaining to them, it's very, very painful, because yeah, it'll constantly remind you of you. Now, I don't think that you know, soulmates have that kind of intensity as the twin flames, because you know, they are not the same. They are part of your soul tribe, but they're not your mirror soul, right? So this is why, you know, that there is that the dynamics there. So so yeah. So your second question, is it possible? Did you? One second, I'm going all over the place here. It is so small. So did one pick one of the twin flame? And that's no, you don't really pick it. So that's what it is. It doesn't work that way. So I hope that I've answered that question, and I'll link that blog, you know, and have a look at it. But yeah, so soul monad is very different from, you know, your twin flame. Your twin flame is your mirror soul, and soul monad is your group. You know, your group, a cluster group of souls that have you know, decided to assist you in your journey here, so in this lifetime. Whether they chose to live a few lifetimes, sometimes they do, you know, sometimes they assist you in a few lifetimes, and you know, in your past life work, you know, sometimes, you know, you see that, you know, your grandma is your daughter or something like that, right? So, and that's all part of that situation, right? So yeah, it's look into all that. If there is any you know, article on soul monad or whatever, just have a look at it, Google it, right? But that's part of that soul tribe. You know, sometimes you hear this word as well, your soul family, your soul tribe. That's what that is, right? So but yeah, that's very, very different from your twin flame. Your twin flame is you know, I do feel that and some people do argue that they don't feel that your twin flame is your, you know, you're half of your soul. And I disagree with that, because I've dealt with twin flames so many times. I just see that, you know, they look exactly like their, you know, like their counterpart, right? And the only reason why is because, you know, twin flames do look alike, you know. So that soul, whether you know, took a different kind of embodiment, you know, different parents, but the soul is the soul, right? It's the same soul. So that's where that you know, that similarity comes. So that theory, I don't think is correct. Yeah, I somewhat want to say that maybe everybody, I can't guarantee that, but maybe everybody is a twin flame. It's just that they chose not to incarnate in this lifetime as a twin flame. So they chose not to, it's not their time to experience the twin flame experience. And it's only just, you know, if you are new to the journey, you know that it's not that many people that actually are actual twin flames. So so yeah, it's very, very specific soul contract. And you know, once you're a twin flame, you can't just say, oh, I don't want to be a twin flame, I'm just going to live a normal, regular life. Then you are not actually a twin flame. Because it's not something that you can just kind of flip flow from, you know, oh, today I'm a twin flame and tomorrow I'm not. There's no part-time twin flame. And you know, it definitely is not that you can be a twin flame today and 20 years later you're not a twin flame. Once you're awakened, you know, you cannot go back. And this is where some of the collectives feel very, very stuck, because they feel that, oh my goodness, you know, like, is it going to get better? It gets better when you actually start focusing on you. And that's the biggest problem that majority of the collectives have, is that they're just way, way too hung up on the twin flame. And you know, they are amazing. You know, that's just our you know, the juicy carrot that the soul dangles in front of us. It doesn't matter whether they are good looking or you know, beautiful or gorgeous. It doesn't matter any of that, right? You know, they could very well be just a normal human being, but to you, you know, that person will be very, very irresistible, because you know, it's the soul that's asking you to look deeper into why your twin flame is triggering you, right? So that is the, you know, important part of the lesson, right? So Okay, so we've got Laura that's asking, is it possible for a 72-hour test to confirm that someone is our twin flame and is not? Well, the test is a foolproof method, so I want to say that it is a definite confirmation that you get regarding your twin flame, because you know, I've heard so many feedbacks from the collectives about this, and I know another twin flame teacher that teaches it. You know, that's one of her most shared article as well as mine. It actually, if you ever Google 72-hour twin flame test, mine will be sitting there. My article will be sitting there on Google ranking, and I'm not that like, my website is not that old. It's only full-fledged, I want to say, only 4 to 5 months. So yeah, it's actually gone that you know, fast into in the ranking, where it's actually sitting in the top search, because that's the most shared article. And I'm actually thankful that the collectives, actually, whoever had shared them and you know, felt that the article actually helps to identify, because you know, it's all word of mouth, and one person has an amazing test and they get the confirmation, then they want to share it, and it's part of that. You know, I did that too, right? I actually shared the word around as well, so because it's so important, right? You know, you you know, when you get like private readings, they can only read your energy, and they can only tell you what's out there, you know, in your connection between the perceived person and not. And I know that during my Catalyst Twin days, there were some really well-known readers that had picked up that the Catalyst Twin was my twin flame. It's because, you know, it was meant to be that way, right? So I was meant to believe that my Catalyst Twin at that time was my twin flame, because there was other things that were happening around it, right? So if you, and then and again, you know, it's if you're getting lots of reading between you know, psychics and readers, and it will be roll of the dice again. You know, some will say, oh yeah, this person is your twin flame, the other one will say no. So the best thing is to ask you know, within the 72-hour test. I always say, see, the thing is that it gets tricky when people are not asking it the way that they should be. And that's where it gets very, very weird. You know, I don't understand how you can get the test wrong, but it's amazing that people can actually get the test wrong. And when you actually ask it in a very vague way, then the universe will give you a vague answer. If you ask it in a correct way, then it's going to be giving you a correct answer, right? So it's only black and white. There is no gray. There is, in this test, there's no gray. So if you are not specific enough, then yeah, you're gonna get some really weird kind of answers. So and if you do not get the answer, you know, the three you know, the three answers that you're looking for in that 72-hour range time frame, then the answer is just that, you know, it's not your twin flame. So you know, it doesn't mean that your connection is any less what's the word, special, right? You know, it's still there to tell you about soul lessons and growth, and it could very well be your catalyst twin or something or the other. I personally will never ever do a test on more than one person anyways. I do not understand that. Why would you be doing it, you know, test on two people? I've seen that as well. You know, how does that work? I mean, you have this twin flame, and then, or supposedly, and then you've got this another person. Why would you do twin flame test on two people? I don't get that, right? You know, you either have a twin flame you're dealing with, because that would be, if you have two potential twin flames, supposedly, I don't know what that means, but let's just say that if you have two of those, right, your twin flame will stand out. The person that, you know, let's just say that, you know, you've got two twin flames supposedly like this. The twin flame is going to be right here, and the other person will be right here. There is no if and but there in the connection. There isn't. So either those two are definitely not your twin flame, or, you know, or they could be soulmate or something else. I have no idea, because it just doesn't make sense. You know, there's a night and day difference between your twin flame connection and just a normal soulmate even. It's not the same thing. Trust me. And the ones, and give it a thumbs up, audience, that actually have done the test. Write it down in the comments and validate that, because I would like the other audience to know that it actually works, and authenticate it, that it actually, when you are doing the twin flame test on a real twin flame, you will get the answers, and you know deep down in your soul, in your every fiber of your being, whatever, that this is your twin flame. You just know it. So there is no confusion there. When there's two people, there's hardly any confusion, and the confusion comes when you actually are reading too much. You don't know your connection. That's what it is, because you are either lacking the healing, or you're lacking the trust, or you are just not understanding the entire journey experience. Because, you know, it doesn't matter that your twin flame is not giving you time of the day. Most of them don't, because, you know, you're meant to actually dive deep into your journey, right? You know, so that's what that is. It's nothing to do with the fact that, you know, that person isn't your twin flame. You know, that's, if they are actually ignoring you, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, because it's meant to actually get you somewhere else, right, in your alchemy. So yeah, I want to say that the 72-hour test is definitely a foolproof method of the twin flame. And like I said, I've never ever done a twin flame test on any other person other than my twin flame. And you guys know my story. So I actually ended up asking my God, you know, to give me a sign, clear sign, that he was the one for me before I even came across the twin flame test. And I got 3 signs that night. I didn't ask for specific signs, but I asked for 3. I didn't even ask for 3 signs. I just asked for signs, you know, and I got 3 that night as well. So, and that was not even a twin flame test. And I've done that twin flame test, the official one. And I've also, one time there's a YouTube link that I ended up watching, and that is also a twin flame test. But the only thing is that one only talks about 2 signs, doesn't talk about 3. So I just ended up watching it, and I don't know how this works. I ended up watching it, and I got, within 24 hours, almost more than 24 hours later, I had already gotten my 3 signs, the same signs that I had asked, you know, in my first one, you know, my official twin flame test. I ended up getting that, and I'm like, how? I just watched this video. Why? So universe will always, you know, they will always, you know, remind you that this person is your twin flame. So yeah, I never had to doubt that he's my twin flame. So, and I wouldn't, you know, I mean, if tomorrow him and I don't be together for whatever reason, you know, however way the life is gonna move forward for us, if a new person comes into my life, that person is not gonna be my twin flame. You know, it's either that is the guy or isn't. That's it. You know, the one that I, you know, have been confirmed many times that that's my twin flame. Either it's him or it's nobody else, because there is no if there. I you know, that's just the way I look at it, right? So yeah, I don't understand why people would want to make stuff up and go along, you know, and I've heard this many times too, where you know, somebody meets a new person, other than they know that they have a twin flame, and then, you know, more soul lessons, growth needs to happen, where they actually get into other connections, and they start you know, perceiving that one as a twin flame, and then they start doing the twin flame test. I've seen that as well. I don't know, I wouldn't do that, not me anyway. So yeah, be clear with what your intentions are. And I think that the twin flame test is authentic. So, because you're actually asking your guides, your higher self, and your ascended masters. So they will never wrong you, right? So, and if they, for whatever reason, if at that time they wanted you to believe that this particular person that you thought was your twin flame is your twin flame, then there is a chance that they will actually authenticate all their signs for you to just know about that temporarily. I know it's not very it's not very common, but it has happened to a few where people were dealing with a catalyst twin, and they did the test and they got their authentication, and then once that soul contract was done, they meet the real one and they do the test again and it was validated. So it's very rare that happens, but that's because your higher self is the boss, not you. So the test does work in either way. So it's just that sometimes your higher self wants you to perceive that this person is your twin flame, and they will do it in any way that they can, right? So yeah, they are the boss. So that's who you are asking. So yeah, if you feel that the test is not working, you can go and talk to your higher self about that, because that's what that is. Okay, so next question. Oh my god, I don't think I'm already almost halfway into this video here, and I've only answered 3 questions. Goodness. Never ask a twin flame teacher questions, because I'm going to give you guys a very in-depth answer, I guess. Okay. Let's see here. So Kia is asking, is it possible for kids to be awakened or reincarnated? Kids to be awakened? Definitely. Because why I say that is, see, you almost want to hear stories about these kind of things. If you are in some sort of like a closed Facebook group, or like you're following a page or something like that, ask these questions to the rest of their the members there, because they'll tell you this. It's very common for some of the people to actually feel the the spirituality and stuff like that when they were actually very little. And of course, at some point they got scared because it's too much information, too much, right? And of course, like depending on your your parents and whoever you grew up with, if they were close to all of this stuff, then they would just prevent you from expanding on your spiritual gifts. And there's been stories, and you can go back and ask this to the members or anybody that's spiritual, because there is most likely a story there that they will authenticate that, yes, when I was a little little girl, little boy, I was getting all these things, and then my mom or my dad just kind of told me to stop it, and it was to scare me, and they thought it was witchcraft, and they were this and that, so that is definitely the story, and it actually is very, very true. There's many that have actually dealt with that. So yeah, and then down the road, when they got more awakened, when they could actually handle it a little bit more, that's when they started getting back the gifts that were there. I know that one of my healer, she's not a twin flame, but she's a very good healer, very good empath, and she used to tell me that when she was little, she was seeing all this stuff, and it was all spiritual, but the thing is, it was just way too much for her to comprehend as a child. So at some point, she did tell her guys, stop, make it stop. I can't handle all of this. And so she just kind of shut it off and allowed herself to grow up. And in her early 20s, when she could actually handle it a little bit better, that's when she started actually practicing it a little bit more, because she was actually ready then, right? So as a child, you can only be so much ready. So as if it goes back to children, I would want to say that, yeah, they do, the kids are awakened and they are reincarnated. There's all sorts of stories. Some kids actually remember their previous lives, and that's not a coincidence. There's, because up till the age of 7, you want to say that they're still innocent in, how do I say innocence? Like, they're still very naive. They're not aware of, the actual world out there. So their psychic abilities are a little bit more stronger. And of course, as they grow up, past the age of 7, that's when, you know, they block it out. So that's another thing. You know, you can kind of go back and think about it in your childhood, how that actually applied. Do mention something like that in the comment if it's any of you that are actually have experienced something like that, because that would be very on point. Another thing I want to add is between age 1 to 7 is when actually most of the children, you know, and you included, they get their most severe, you know, like inner child traumas and stuff like that. So you know, as a parent, if you have young kids, you know, just be aware of that. So of course you can protect them 24/7, but you know, just make sure that if you have kids, you know, that are that age, they are very sensitive. So just make sure that, you know, you are there for them in any way that you need to, right? And if you have kids that are spiritual and they've got stuff like this, monitor them, have a conversation with them, just see how they feel. If they are way too over their head, where they cannot handle it, then, you know, you can ask you know, for this to all stop, so that they can actually just be themselves, and then down the road they can pick it up. You know, you can always put that intention there as well, you know, with your kids. You know, you know, that's such a personal thing. You know, you have to actually just kind of, you know, make a decision based on what your situation is. You know, I don't know what that is, right? So this is just a very generic way that I'm answering. But if you feel that your kids are very psychic and intuitive, and you know, they are unable to handle it, then yeah, you can ask it to stop a little bit and, you know, put it a pause, and then when they're older enough, they can actually, you know, get into it, because kids are kids, right? You know, their psychology is still just as that, right? So you wanna protect them that way, you know. So yeah, I would if it were my child, I would definitely be monitoring that, because, you know, again, you know, like I'm gonna be having twin flame children, so they will be actually very spiritual, you know, because they will actually genetically inherit that from their parents. So yeah, because my other half, he is very intuitive and spiritual. So there's no way these kids are not gonna be what they should be, right? So yeah, I do feel that, you know, like I will be actually I'm preparing myself for it, because yeah, I have to be really monitoring that, you know, as a parent, to make sure that they're protected and, you know, they're guided, right? That sort of thing. So yeah, next to the next question that we've got is, we've got Kia that asks so many questions, my goodness. What would you say to someone on the journey who had dream about snakes? I'm not a dream person, so I want to say that if the child or someone, okay, so it's only just someone, it's not a child. If someone is dreaming about snakes, there's many things that can be to that. It could be that Kundalini is awakening, because, you know, that's the snake-like energy that, you know, surges up your spine, right? So it could be your Kundalini activated. It could also be your, you know, there's only one, well, there's actually few ascended masters in the Hinduism that deal with the snakes. So depending on what it is, you know, Lord Shiva is the king of snakes, you know, so, you know, I mean, he's, but he's not the only one that actually dealt with snakes. It's actually Lord Vishnu, you know, he's got, I don't know how many snakes he's got, you know, like, and that he actually, I want to say maybe 10, 7 or 10, you know, he's got that 10-headed snake, or is it 7-headed snake, you know, so I can't remember it offhand, but, you know, he's also part of that as well. And then there's another story with Lord Krishna, who, you know, dealt with a really bad snake as well. So no, he didn't actually. He was oh, I'm getting my stories mixed up. No, actually, he was still Lord Vishnu, I believe. You know, he was just protecting him when their baby was being carried across from one end to the other by the parents. So yeah, so that was Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna is another incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So that would make sense about the about the protection there. So there's little myths there. Well, whether they're myth or not, but in Hinduism, they're considered very, very auspicious. So because the gods are attached to them, right? So yeah. So hard to say. I would say keep a dream journal and just see what's gonna come from that. Whoever it is that's seeing snakes, keep a dream journal and ask your guides to give you more direction on it. What's the message, because sometimes there's messages attached to it, right? So you have to ask your guides to help you there, because if you're seeing a dream that's repeated, or you feel that there's a message there, then ask them to expand on it. So yeah, I would do it that way. Okay, so Terry's asking, what do you think of walk-ins? Huh? What is this, Terry? The belief that if your twin opts out, the universe will offer another similar frequency to work with. Well, that's simple law of attraction, and I'm going to explain it, right? So here you go. I'm going to use two hands here. So I'm going to do it this way. Okay. So you meet your twin flame. You guys are on the same vibrational frequency, or maybe not, who knows. And then you are ascending. So this is you. You are there. You're going there, right? You're rising. And then your twin flame is catching up, but not all that much. Well, here you are. You're already quite there. And yeah, it could very well be that if it stays stuck there, then there's going to be somebody else that's going to come and match you here, right? So that's the frequency of the universe. That's the law of attraction. How that rolls into everybody's dynamics, that all depends on your soul contracts, right? Because nothing is random. If your twin flame is not stepping up and is not doing much out there, then maybe that's all he or she needed to do, was to just awaken you to the journey, get you to do the experience, and then bam, right? You are already ascending, you're doing what you need to do, and then your twin flame, if they don't decide to rise with you and work on themselves and do all those things, then yeah, the universe is going to plant you with somebody else, right? Because you are doing you, and if your twin flame is not doing them, then that's what it is, right? It's gonna be either ways. You will still be winner on the other side, right? If you've worked on yourself, you've achieved what you needed to achieve. If whether you get your twin flame or not, at that point it wouldn't actually even matter, because you're gonna end up meeting somebody that will align in that frequency. And people that have worked on themselves a lot, you will hear that from them, that they start getting very, very picky in terms of choosing partners and stuff like that. Like, in my case, I'm gonna go back to me. I've done so much spiritual work because I've worked really, really hard. I put my blood and sweat, and I actually didn't have a single day where I actually didn't do anything. So I have worked very, very hard in my journey. And at this point, I'm not just gonna be open to just anybody, because I've raised my vibration so high, higher than when I started off my journey like 3 years ago. I'm going to compare it to that. I'm a very, very different person from what I was 3 years ago. So yeah, if I'm not going to find anybody that's on the same frequency as me, I'm probably not going to be interested, because I've worked very, very hard, and yeah, the universe should bring somebody better, right? If it's not going to be my twin flame, if he didn't rise up to what he should be, then yeah, the universe should bring me somebody better, right? So that's what you want to put out there anyways, as as a safe cap, right? But you can never go wrong with only working on you. So either ways, you'll figure it out, what that means when the time comes, right? I also want to say to that it all depends on your team as well, because if you've got very, very strong indication that your twin flame is forever by your side and giving you guidance and giving you everything, if they are actually with you, then they're with you. They're with you all the way. Like in my case, I can't say that the guy is not with me, right? He's with me every step of the way. He has been for the last 3 years, right? He hasn't left my side energetically at all, whether that shows up in reality or however way in reality it looks, you know, because in reality he's running away from me because he's the runner. But in his, like, his higher self has been really, really supportive and very, very energetic. You know, he's just attached to me. So it's kind of hard not to think that, you know, he's not rising with me. Does that make sense, right? So because if their higher self is so involved in your situation and they're helping you to grow and grow and grow, there's no, I would almost say that it doesn't make sense that they are not growing as well. So you have to almost look at your own dynamics and just see that how much the other twin flame is supporting you energetically. Because if you find that they're supporting you energetically, you know, in every way, like if they're showing up in your healing sessions and they're getting the healing, because, you know, I mean, he's a Punjabi guy, you know, he doesn't know much about Reiki and past life and all that sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy knows any of that stuff, right? I mean, he's spiritual, but it's kind of different kind of spiritual that he's into, right? He's more religious spiritual. So and he's got his psychic intuition, his gifts, you know, and I don't know whether he actually you know, uses them much, you know. I think he kind of does, you know, but he's not the type that's gonna go, or he's not even, I would be very surprised if he actually ever gotten a Reiki even done, you know. Like, I'm just saying that that's just the way that he is wired, right? So he's wired that way. So yeah, this is why his higher self always joins me, right, you know, in my healing sessions, because, you know, that's just the way that he knows that, you know, 3D version, that this guy is not into all these things. He's all about making money, which is okay. He can make the money, right? Keep making it. But you know, in that sense, you know, that's when, you know, when he shows up and gets all the healing and stuff like that. So I know that he's actually healing with me, right? So so yeah, definitely look at that dynamic aspect as well of your connection, because that's going to give you a very good idea whether your twin flame is actually rising with you or not, right? So there you go, Terry. That's what I've got for you. So you let me know if that made sense to you, okay? Princess, she's one of my moderators, so I can talk to her like that. Okay. We've got Shamil that is asking, for others who watch your channel, I use this and know why. Why do most people on this journey use sage, oils, and salt? Are these important things on the journey? Why and how do I use them? Okay. So, okay, I don't know what the channel part was, you know. I guess, you know, she just wants me to, because this is YouTube anyway, so there's a higher audience anyways, you know, that will be watching it, that are not in my Facebook group, you know, and I talk about that a lot there. So I think that's what she's meaning here. Why do people use, you know, sage, oils, and salt? So I'm gonna go with, I have articles on this, and I will link it, you know, in the description, and you guys can have a look at that. So I'm gonna answer it by, you know, point by point. Sage. Okay. Sage is not the only one that actually is, I haven't written a blog on this yet, because I know I've got so many topics and there's only so much I can write, you know. I need time for these things. So I'm cracking at it, but yeah, this is one of my future topics is, you know, these kind of things, right? So sage, the sage, there's rosemary, there's frankincense, I think that's how you pronounce it, you know. Yeah. People know what I mean, I hope. What else is there? Lavender, right? All of these, they there is lemongrass. All of these are amazing essential oils that actually help you release things, from your vibrational frequency, and that could be your trapped energy and stuff like that. So they're very soothing, they're very calming. It actually cleanses the air, because if the if the aura or the air is off, then yeah, that will also help. Like saging, that's why people use saging to light up the sage and just clear the air. What you want to do is you want to sage frequently, especially your home. So what you want to do is you want to light that up and let the smoke fill up a little bit and air it out. You can use can't think of that name. Oh gosh, it's not coming to me. It's in my head, but I can't. There's few things that you can actually use, and it's that wood thing, and it's not coming to me right now, and I use it all the time, so I'm getting a brain freeze. So yeah, so along with sage, there's lemongrass as well. That's the native one. Natives actually came up because it's very popular in their culture. So they actually, if you go to the metaphysical stores, they will have all sorts of, things like that you can use. Palo Santo, gosh, I use it all the time. I actually like the fragrance, so you can use that as well to clear the space, right? So it's very great for cleaning your house and stuff like that, because you think about it for a second. You are going around, having your day-to-day stuff. You meet people, you don't know what kind of day they're having, and energy is fluid, so you're actually picking up their stuff as well, right? And empaths actually do pick up stuff from other people, so you want to actually get rid of that. So that's where it actually assists. Same thing with salt. Salt actually also does that. I also use lemons, not lemons, limes. I use limes as well. I actually keep them in my purse, I keep them in my bedroom, and they're always they're like mantra charged, right? And I actually offer it to Goddess Kali. So that's where that lemon thing comes from my own culture and religion, because it's very big on Hinduism. So, and I know that in my article that I talk about the limes, we've got in Feng Shui too, Chinese also believe, Asians do also like limes as well, because it actually purifies. So it's a purifier. This is why lemons and limes, they're really good for cleansing the body as well, right? There's some actually really good rituals that are on YouTube on how to actually use lemons and limes to remove negative energy and stuff like that. So yeah, you can have a look at that. Google it, and not Google it, YouTube it, and just see which ones kind of. I'm not going to link those, because yeah, that's something that you guys can go nuts and see. I know that they have where you can actually put limes and salt, and actually on a summertime actually do that. I remember the first time I had placed it, I just cut it in 4 sections, not all the way through in the lime, just like that. I cut it up and I threw some what was it, what salt, sea salt in there, and I put it in front of my house and then the back of the house, right? I did that, and within few hours it started to turn brown, and it was it was just crazy just how much it just did that. Like, it just removed that much energy, and you can do that inside the house too. It'll suck up the energy, right? So yeah, it actually works, so you actually get to see it. So work with those as well. I'm gonna say that lime is really good as well. It's just natural, it's not voodoo, it's not magic. It's just it's a purifier agent, right? And this is why even they have the lemon oil essence as well, because that that also is a good and some of these things that like if you watch YouTube at all, you'll see that some of the stuff that is in your pantry, they actually use that for manifestation and stuff like that. I know that Mystic at Crossroads, she uses that a lot. She's she's one of those white witches that tell you a lot about candles and manifestation, and it's all the stuff that's in your kitchen cupboard. It's nothing that you cannot actually just you know, you don't have to go out there and spend a lot of money to do these kind of manifestations. They're actually pretty interesting that way. So have a look at stuff like that, because you know they do work, and I do like them. So I think that those are great. And then you talk about oils, and again, you know, this is another article I'm going to be putting together. So yeah, just look at all the essential oils and what they actually heal, and how they release all the stuff, right? Because each essential oil will actually, you know, if you Google it and there's an article there, it'll tell you what it actually does to release it. Another one that I was starting to look into the community, I heard about it, and then, you know, I got to actually start using it, is buckflower remedies. And the buckflower essence is actually just it was brought out by Edward Buck, and he was he believed that plant essence and stuff like that helped us to release some of the trapped energies. And you know, it's sort of like a healing remedy. You know, it's more spiritual. And in the website that he's got, buckflowerremedies.com, you can actually look at that, and you can just see what it actually helps you release. And I think that it works because I've been doing that since midsummer, and I swear by it actually. And I use about 4 essence per per time. So, and I've seen a huge difference in that shift as well. So you want to have a look at that too. I think that, you know, you will find that it works. So buckflower is really good that way. So yeah, they do help. And how to use them is you Google them. You Google what your interest is, and just see what's out there, because Google has so many articles. You just have to go through articles and articles and see how you want to use them, because there's no right and wrong way of using it. Essential oils are great for baths, right? You know, so a spiritual bath, I think that it's amazing. It relaxes you, and you go through those. So I believe in foot soaks. So that's where the salt comes in handy, and a good one is Epsom salt. And I use actually a combination of it: Himalayan sea salt, Epsom salt, and sea salt. And they have to be very, very pure. They cannot be iodized. So you have to actually Google and search some real authentic ones, as opposed to the iodized one, because those ones wouldn't be as pure, right? You want the real stuff. They're not expensive, but you want to get the right stuff so that you can actually do those kind of things. And I think that it helps heal many things. So it helps you release all that stuff. But it's in a combination of a lot of healing as well. If this is all you're doing, then it's not going to do not much. It's a combination of everything. So you cannot rely just on this salt, oil, and saging and all that sort of thing. You have to actually get into proper healing, because it's a combination of everything. So that's when you actually get better results. And then Shamila is asking one more here. Can vivid dreams have messages and signs from the universe about journey and purpose? They can, and I know many people do. I like I said, I'm not a dream person, but the last few months I've been dreaming some stuff very, very specifically, which came in alignment with my journey and my connection. So I want to say that they do, and you just have to keep a dream journal, and it may not reveal to you at that time what that means, but as the time goes, that's when you start getting more downloads, more messages. So yeah, I do feel that they do have some purpose. I with my dreams, I never remember them the next day, but lately it seems like that, and again, it's your higher self that is at work. So lately I felt that whatever I had dreamt of, they were very, very specific enough, and they had messages enough there that the next day I did remember them, and I still remember them even now. So because they were very, very specific. So, and it was very specific to my connection, my journey. So I want to say that yes, they do. I always said that, but in my case, it was never something that was very, very huge in my journey, because my guides knew that there's no way I'll remember stuff like this the next day. But obviously I can now, because I must have opened up some sort of psychic awareness there or intuition or a portal there that I can actually remember it the next day. So it's kind of nice, because during the dream state, we dream a lot of things. It's too bad, people can't remember them, me included, the next day. But if you are meant to know something, then yeah, your guides will ensure that you know what they are, and only you can explain your dreams. That's the thing. I know that sometimes people look for interpretations and stuff like that. The only way that you can maybe have it expanded is maybe book a session with a medium, because mediums will be able to channel that, and not everybody is a medium. And I don't like it when people say that, oh, I'm a medium, and then they are channeling through a tarot card, and that's not mediumship. If anybody that's a medium, they will know that medium is a very, very unique, profound gift. It's actually, this is one-on-one conversation or something, and they will get very, very specific messages from their higher guides. And you don't use divination tools for that. It's all channeling. It's all there. So that's a medium. So do your research on a proper medium, and not somebody that's doing tarot cards and calling themselves medium, because anybody can do that kind of channeling. It's not very specific. You have to, that's just channel. You're channeling, and most readers are really, really good with that. I'm not saying that that's not a gift. It's a gift, but it's a very different kind of gift. Medium is when somebody is actually communicating with higher beings, or they're actually communicating with the souls on the other side. So and yeah, you don't use divination tools for those. So yeah, do your research and hook up with a good medium, and they'll be able to then decipher your dream, because they're the only ones that can. They are the only ones that have that kind of gift, and everybody has gifts in many forms and shapes and form. But when you start charging money, or if you're paying for something, do your research what that is, with whoever the service provider is, because you want to get your money's worth, right? You don't want to be booking in for a medium reading, and here they are doing tarot cards and reading oracle cards. That's just a reading. Then they're channeling spirits and guides for sure, 100%. No off about that. But if you're looking for a medium, then yeah, you need to actually get hold of an actual medium, and it's a rare gift, and that's how I feel about it anyway. So, and if I were to book a reading with a medium, I'll make sure it's an actual medium, and that's it. So I'm gonna just close it off there, because this may trigger a bunch of you. But it is what it is, because as a teacher, I have to put it out there that be careful what you are saying you are, because every gift is unique, and you can serve the collectives in a very, very unique way. But yeah, just really get to know what they are. So okay, so Nicole is asking, how do we connect with our twin flame during meditation? See, this is where it gets a little tricky, because I just finished doing a guided meditation on how to meet your twin flame. So that will be the one that hopefully will get you to meet. There's some that are on YouTube, and I only liked one, and that was in the beginning stages of my journey, when I had actually done her guided meditations. And I don't know what actually happened to her, because her website is out, but her YouTube channel is still there, and that's Tracy C. Saunders, and she's got some really amazing twin flame guided meditations, and I like them all. So those are the only ones that I actually think were amazing enough that allowed me to meet my twin flame. The rest, I actually did that I mind you, I haven't gone through all of them or whatever, but whatever I've seen, they don't really impress me on YouTube. So that one still stands out the most. And then yeah, I just finished recording that, so that's gonna, air shortly, depending on how guided meditations are a little bit harder to execute, because it's a lot of work that goes into it, even to just put it into a video format. So yeah, it's gonna come out pretty soon, and yeah, make a look out of that. And that's you know, when a twin flame teacher and a healer, you know, executes a meet your twin flame guided meditation, you just know that it'll be something or the other, right? So yeah, that's the only way that, see, again, it's all free will. So if your twin flame doesn't want to join you, then they won't join you. And you can only call them with an intention and say, you know, would you like to join? And, you know, ask. And if they want to join, then they'll join. If they don't want to join, they won't join. So I don't want to say, I think only once I asked once or twice I've asked in my Reiki healing for him to join. He joined, and that was the only time I asked. Every other time I've never actually asked him, because it's something that he just comes on his own. And if he wants to come, he comes, and if he doesn't want to come, he doesn't. And when he comes, he doesn't come in the beginning stages of my meditation and stays to the very end. There's no such thing. I don't know if you let me know how your twin behaves, but mine doesn't behave that way. He'll just come for, you know, like a zap here and there, and then off he goes. You know, it's not like he'll stay, you know, during the whole course of it. You know, he's not that twin. Maybe he just, you know, I don't know what that means, but, you know, let me know what your twin does, you know, if anybody else has encountered something similar, or if they actually stay for a longer duration. Mine doesn't. You know, he'll just come at a portion where he needs to be at that phase of the healing. Because when you actually book one-on-one with healers, you know, there's different phases of the healing that they go through, right? So yeah, it depends on what phase I'm at, and he'll just show up, do his thing, you know, get the healing, and off he goes, you know. So that's what he does, you know. It's not like, you know, he'll stay by my side, you know. It's not like a birthing experience, you know, where the other parent will be, you know, with their, like, you know, the woman is birthing, and the other parent will be there, and, you know, go through the whole process of however long the labor and the delivery and everything else is. It doesn't work that way. At least it doesn't in my case, you know. And I don't know what it's like with others, because it's very rare even for twin flames to join. I haven't heard that many people talk about that. So, but the ones that do, you know, they've never said that, oh, he's or she's stayed, you know, in the entire course of the, you know, the healing session. They come and go kind of thing. So it depends. But how do they join, or how do they connect? There is no way that you can actually manipulate that, because that's again going into the free will part, right? So you can only put that intention there, but if they don't wanna, they won't. So it's either they are there or they don't. You know, you can't manipulate that, because you'll be violating their free will, and that's against the spiritual law. So you don't want to get into that. Next question we've got. Shamil is asking, is it best to use natural remedies for ascension, pain, or use medication? I read it defeats or slows progress when using medications. Is that true? Is it true? This is how I look at it. If you are having a blasting headache because of ascension symptom, you know, and why wouldn't you take a pill or two to just relieve yourself and be comfortable? I mean, it's not like you are chugging pills every day for it, right? You know, you got to do what is comfortable for you. There's no point of you suffering, you know, in any way of pain if you know, if you're uncomfortable, because you're not supposed to be uncomfortable. If you've got a splitting headache, or you've got this part of your body that's in pain, or that, you know, take some painkillers. You know, it's not gonna, as long as you're taking it in moderation. If you are chugging in pills by pills by pills, and then putting some booze in it and some other, you know, drugs and stuff like that, then yeah, then you're pushing your limits. But you know, if you know what you're doing, so go with what you're doing, right? You know, it doesn't harm. I don't think it does. I when I have you know, physical pain and all that, I don't not take painkillers and medications, because I have a very good tolerance for pain, so I'll deal with it to an extent. But if I find that, okay, you know what, I need to, and then I'll do it, you know. So and mine is prescription painkillers, so because of my back injury and all that. So I'll take it to an extent, and you know, again, I'm very guarded at what I take as well. So you know, it all depends on your comfort level, and I don't think there's a wrong or right reason to that. So yeah, you can go with the flow and go with your, check with your doctor. That's another thing I'm gonna say, because at the end of the day, you know, your doctor will know what is right for you and isn't, right? So so go with that too. Get medical advice on that. You know, go with the flow. There's no rules, and I know that there's people that are made a bunch of rules. You know, rules are what I don't know where they get these rules. You just go with what it is, right? You know, is there any natural remedies for things like that? There could very well be, and you can research on that and try some of the natural remedies. There's no harm to that, you know. Again, this is still, you know, your choice, your decision, because it's your body, and you are the boss. Nobody else is. So so go with you know, what your answers should be. Okay, another question by Shamil. Is it best to use natural remedies? Oh, okay, so okay, so I've already, oh, actually that was the one. I just reread that same question, so I already answered that. Can you have a twin flame child or children that resembles your twin flame before meeting them? Okay, I'm gonna clarify this, because there is no such thing as twin flame children if it wasn't from your actual real twin flame. Like tomorrow, let's just say the two children that I'm seeing in my future with my twin flame, let's just say, if tomorrow that goes sideways and I have, you know, I get married and I have kids with somebody else, there is no such thing as that would be the twin flame children. Let's be realistic here. Right? That's just children. No twin flame, because that guy wouldn't be my twin flame. Right? There's no twin flame children there. They're not even half twin flame. Do not even go there. Twin flame children is when two authentic twin flames, you know, birth an actual twin flame child. That's it. There is nothing there. You can't mix anything else in that bowl and try to make a cake out of it. Don't mix the batter. There is no, you know, you can't mix that and make a, you know, a form of cupcakes out of a cake or gingerbread house or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, because I see that all the time, you know, in these kind of questions that show up in groups and stuff like that. It's a no. So I'm going to rephrase this question. Can a child or children resemble your twin flame before you meet them? Yeah, it could very well be, because there is ways that the universe will remind you of your twin flame, right? So, and it could very well be that, you know, like children will remind you of your twin flame, or people will remind you of your twin flame. It's not necessarily just children. It could be even anything will remind you of your twin flame, you know, like, because your soul will send you all these kind of jolts, right? It's like a defibrillator, you know, your soul will just zap you, zip, 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 right? You know, so they'll continue doing that till you actually wake up and you realize, okay, this is what's happening. So, and there will be ways where they will continue doing that, right? You know, there's, it's crazy that how scenarios will play and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I say that because I see that in my dynamics. If I ever very rarely am I ever frustrated with my twin flame, because I usually know, being a twin flame teacher, I really know what his behavior is asking me to do, this and that. But if there is something that would just make me like, okay, why are you doing this kind of thing, and then the universe will throw me many curves like that to just remind me that this is your twin flame, and you gotta stick to your journey, stick to this, right? So there's ways that they will jolt you. So I don't think that it actually just pertains to children. I think that it will also pertain to anybody out there. So it could be your children, or it could be a child, but it also could be just anybody that will remind you of your twin flame. Like I remember, this is another common question that I know that people always wonder about, and they're baffled when they, and it's happened to me many times where, I have to do a double take because, somebody that I see and is like, is that him? And you look at a second time, and of course it's not, but, Jesus. And it's because your universe is constantly throwing this down your way, that you need to stay on course with your journey. So everybody can remind you of twin flame, or it could be certain people that'll remind you of your twin flame. So, and that the only reason why that happens is because your soul is jolting you, with a defibrillator, that here you go, just stay on course with your journey, stay on course, do this, do that, right? That sort of thing. So I think that it's very profound that happens, but it's very specific. So yeah, go with that answer, right? And like I said, if you there is no such thing as people having children with other people and calling it twin flames to anything. It's either your real counterpart that you have a twin flame with, a twin flame child with, or you don't. That's it. Don't make stuff up either. I know that people love to make up things like that. It could be I'm not saying that a child is not special, but it's not a twin flame baby. Come on. All right, you are now not making any sense. There has to be a biological, what's the word, explanation to this, right? You can't just cook up that, oh yeah, I birthed this child, and he's like, for example, a good example would be my children. Like I see them in the future, this and that, but they haven't birthed yet. So of course, yeah, I call them my children because that's what they are. Or I call them our children because that's what they are. But until they actually take a body, it's still children on the other side. It hasn't birthed yet. So I can't, how do I prove somebody that it doesn't exist yet? Yeah, they exist in spirit and they show you via signs and stuff like that. But realistically, that's, medical science is not that ahead yet. So let's just be realistic here, right? And, another thing I want to add to that is that, souls choose, just like you did. They chose their parents. So those two kids that I see, they've already chosen me and my twin flame to have them, right? It doesn't work that those two souls that I see is going to come from any other, connection. Those ones won't. Make sense? Because they have already chosen their parents, just like you did. It's the ego thing that people think that, they can make up stories and stuff like that. There's no such thing as that. You actually choose. You chose your parents, you chose your sisters, you chose your time of birth, you chose the place of birth, you chose which cosmic stars you wanted to align with to get birth, because that's why astrological reading is somewhat very accurate, especially if you've got your date and time of birth, because they map your destiny, and you can actually have a very good idea what that looks like when you are you know, like getting a reading and stuff like that. And people that are talented, they can actually pull that out very nicely. So it's very, very accurate. If you've got the accurate dates, then, you know, your reading will be accurate if your reader is talented. So, so yeah, I think that those things do count. But yeah, it's not that, you know, nothing was random. This is that saying that Albert Einstein said, you know, that God doesn't play dice, and you know, the universe didn't, God or universe didn't play the dice. You know, it was very, very precise. So in, you know, for those that are you know, that have children that are outside of their twin flame connection, they're just children from that connection. They may have some sort of connection with the father or the mother, you know, who is a twin flame, like, you know, the other, your partner, and that's okay. You know, I mean, that's just bond. You know, like, how is that any different from, you know, a regular couple that had children from the other marriages and stuff? Like, they come together now, and you know, you hear the dynamics all the time in your you know, within your friends and family, that there's you know, that the extended family, when they get together, like, you know, your stepchildren, you know, people are always you know, they bond with their stepchildren and stuff like that. I mean, you know, if you've actually got married a few times, or, you know, one time, whatever, you know, if you've had the same dynamics, you know, you would have bonded, either you would have bonded with your stepchildren or you didn't. You know, that's just the same way. It's not any different. So it's just, it plays out into the dynamics. But yeah, there's no connection there, you know, other than just what it is. So I wouldn't read too much into it. So so yeah, if they resemble them, then it's because, you know, that's just the way that it worked out. And I know that a lot of people resemble, you know, twin flames. Like, my twin flame resembles, you know, this actor that I every time I see him, you know, my heart just jumps. So, because in real life, in pictures not so much, but in real life, you know, that's how he looked to me. So yeah, so, you know, it's just the way it is. I mean, I resemble an actress, you know, so, and everybody tells me that, and I don't, you know, I've got that all my life, and it is what it is. But you know, it's just the way it is, right? You know, you resemble people, right? So, but yeah, your soul will sometimes, you know, jolt you for stuff like that, you know, and that's it's just part of the journey, and it's part of your sign. So take it as that. All right, what is the next question we've got? Shamil is asking, how important is soul alchemy on this journey, and why? Well, you signed up for it, so that's what it is. So if you're not doing your soul alchemy, then you're not becoming the highest version of what you were meant to be, because you cannot just one day think that, you know, you can wave a magic wand and it'll magically transform you from 3D paradigm to 5D consciousness. You know, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually put in the work, right? So, you know, there's no such thing as you planting a seed into the soil and then you know, it'll just, you can't expect that seed to just grow itself. You had to put it in a soil, right? You had to throw some sort of environment to it, perhaps water, perhaps fertilizer or something, for it to actually grow into something. So that's what that you know, that theory is. So you have to actually put in the work, because yeah, you know, you can't just, you know, imagine and chant Om, you know, and that seed will just pop out of nowhere and grow into a freaking nice tree. It doesn't work that way, right? You know, you have to actually throw that in an environment, and you have to actually nurture it. You have to fertilize it, and you know, it's like, for those people that live in colder countries, you know, try to grow a seed in a colder climate. The darn thing won't grow. But if you throw it in the right condition environment, you know, in the spring, you know, going towards summertime, that thing will, you know, rise up, right? And it'll actually give you some sort of bearing, like you know, tomatoes or something like that, let's just say, because they like the hot weather, right? So that's what that is. You know, if you're putting it in the proper environment, it will actually grow. And that's the easiest way that I can explain you. So soul alchemy is the most important part of the journey, because it's not your romance with the twin flame. You know, it's you know, although that does initiate the process, but you know, it's more than that, right? So yeah, because it's the only way you can actually there's no such thing as free anything, right? I mean, don't you have to go and put in your hours at work in order for you to earn money? It's the same idea, right? It's not like, you go to work and do nothing, or don't even show up at work and then earn a paycheck. There's no such thing as that you'll be fired in 2 days. So it's the same idea. You have to actually put in that time in there. You have to put value to it in order for your employer to provide you a paycheck, because that's just the way the universe works. Or if you own a business, there's no such thing as just closing your eyes and staying in bed and expecting your business to grow, right? You still have to put in your time, and you have to market it. You have to sell your products in order for that to flourish. So that's work that needs to be done. So it's the same idea. It's the universal principle. So nothing can be achieved without no work. So there is nothing free. It never is, right? It's the same. Imagine you had children, and now you just, after you had the child, you're like, okay, that's it, grow up. And 20 years later, don't expect that child to have grown up without you providing food, shelter, nurture, right? Wisdom, schooling, right? All those kind of things. You had to put work in that child in order for that child to go into where it needs to go, right? Same thing as what your parents did. They didn't just give birth to you and just say, here, grow, and 20, 30 years later, bam, you just grew up, right? Because they had to put in the work. So it's the same idea. Everything, if you look at it, if you actually break it down, like, in the lamest term that I have explained it, which shows you that you have to put in that work, then, it's soul alchemy is no different from that. You have to actually do that, so you can't just one day think that it's just going to take you from one end to the other, and there is no such thing. This is why those that prefer to just talk about their twin flames and be in the twin flame la la land and try not to put in any work, and the ones, and sometimes they say that they are, but are they really? So and yeah, that's what that means. So take it as you may, and look at it as an advice, or look at it however way you want. Okay, holy moly, these questions are lengthy. Well, actually, my answers are lengthy, let's just say. Okay. Shamil is asking, can intimacy with my twin flame bypass all stages of soul alchemy to get a blissful union faster? Sorry. Really? I don't know how. No such thing. I don't care how amazing your freaking sexual life is with your twin flame, and all twin flames have an amazing sexual life with their twin flame, whether they are in in physical reality or in 5D experience. It doesn't bypass anything, and that's just their ego talking about how amazing their sexual life is. It's just sexual life. That's it. It doesn't mean much. This is the same thing that, as I talked about with that article that I talked about, where what consists of twin flame union, because a lot of people that are in twin flame relationship, they just like to thump their chest and think that they're more superior than the others because they're already in that twin flame relationship. It's not the case, because the thing is that your soul actually chose, if you get your ego out of the way and you actually look at the meaning behind that, is because your soul actually chose to be in the twin flame relationship while you guys are going through your soul alchemy, right? You're going through your healing process, and instead of using the distance, which a lot of twin flames also use as dynamics, like for example, my entire journey so far has been distance, right, where he's distant and I'm continuing doing my healing and all that sort of thing. So we chose it this way. We chose a scenario. So for those that are in twin flame relationship, or whatever you want to call it, union, sure, that's okay. You can call it whatever you want. Those guys are still using the closeness as the trigger points, and they go through some really hardship. because little things will trigger them, and you know, so they are constantly getting triggered, and it's part of their healing process. So they're going through all of that. And of course, you know, if you are in a relationship, you of course are having, you know, sexual relationship with them, so it didn't magically erase some of the stuff that, you know, this question is claiming. So that's why I laugh, because that's, you know, it's again very, very ego based, you know, theory, which is not correct at all. So it doesn't bypass or skip or anything like that. It wouldn't, and it hasn't. So anybody that thinks that can think that, but yeah, it's not true. I don't even know how people can come up with this kind of stuff. What you know, what people forget is that even when you're with a karmic, you know, during bubble life phases and stuff like that, you have some really amazing sexual experience even with karmics. So that, you know, it's just all theories, right? And I don't know why twin flames really put that part as in the pedestal, that, oh my god, you know, I have such an amazing sex with my twin flame. You know, you can have that with anybody that you have that intense attraction with, right? And karmics actually, you know, if you think back in your relationships, you know, with other people, forget about your twin flame, because, you know, that's your obsession there, right? But if you think about it, you know, when you actually met your karmic or your other partners, you know, you had some really, really amazing you know, sexual situation with them, right? You know, unless there were other, you know, blockages and stuff like that. But, you know, usually you would have had an amazing experience. So that was, I don't put too much emphasis on that. And if you hear about it, you know, people bragging about it, don't put too much emphasis on that, because that's all they are. It's just brag point. I do feel that the twin flame, twin flames do initiate the what's the word, the kundalini activation, you know, via sexual experience. But that's you don't even need to be actually sexual to do that. You can have it with phone sex, you can have that with text messages, you can have that with emails, you know, and you don't have to be physically together. You can, you know, one person could be in one end of the other world and the other person can be in the other end of the world. Same thing with, you know, the 5D experience. You know, you could be laying on your bed and, you know, your twin flame energy is there, and bam, 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 and boom, you know, like that also does it too. So, and, you know, they don't need to even communicate with you. Like, I mean, it's just their higher self can actually even do that too. And those ones that have, you know, their twin flames that are not in embodiment, or, you know, if they met their twin flame, you know, let's just say they've been feeling their twin flame before they met them, you know, all of that stuff is, you know, part of that. So in my case, I would say that that's what triggered the whole thing, you know, because I started sensing him in 5D before I actually met him, and that was 6 months of gap, right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So that will activate your kundalini, your spiritual awakening, and all that sort of thing. But that's all it'll do. After that, it's just all, you know, it doesn't do any healing and all that. I don't know where people get those, you know, seriously. You know, this is just all boycotting all the, you know, the healing process, because people don't want to heal. So they'll say stuff like that, right? You know, and think that they're healing, because there's only so much healing you can do with that, right? You know, it's good connection. Yeah, you get a good physical connection. You get a good kind of vibration with it. You exchange, you know, energy, right? This is why cutting cords is very important from your previous lovers and stuff like that, you know, or anybody that you've had crushes on, and anybody that had crushes on you, because it's all energy cord, right? So you're exchanging that energy cord. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, you are, you know, doing all that exchange, but it's not, you know, it's not accessing your subconscious traumas and your wounds, your past life stuff, you know, your blocks, right? It's not accessing any of that stuff. You know, you there's only I had the chart, but I'm gonna put that in an article. I just drew that up. Actually, somebody helped me draw it into a nicer form. But there's only 15% is the conscious, I believe I had put, or was it 10%? I can't remember. So, and then the rest is all subconscious and conscious wounds, right? Sorry, 15% or 10% is the conscious stuff, and the rest is subconscious and unconscious. That's what it is. So how are you actually bypassing all that stuff? You're not. When you are actually in sexual bliss, you're just doing the conscious stuff. You're not going deep enough, right? So it's not healing it. Yeah, you're connecting on a deeper level with your partner, but it's not really healing it. And yeah, for those that think it is, it's not, and it's not gonna get you into a union any faster. There's no such thing, right? That's again going back into the soul alchemy, and you're trying to now skip process. That's like you now saying you gave birth to a baby and say, here, grow up, and 20 years later you expect the child to grow up. It wouldn't be the case, right? You have to put something in that child in order for that to grow up. So yeah, that's the same concept there. So it's definitely not bypassing any of that stuff. Shamil is asking, what are some things that I can do to help downloads come in more smoothly, less painful, and not leave me exhausted? Basically spiritual healing. And spiritual healing is just with healers, because healers will bypass it faster, because you're bringing in the energy way more stronger, and you can actually, when you work one-on-one with healers, that's the only way you can actually make things go fast. So yeah, I'm not going to elaborate much on that, because that's what it is. Once people actually start hooking up with healers and actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, then they will actually see that it'll be a faster process. Right now it's painful, slow death when you're going through all that, but the death is not that bad when you're actually connecting with healers. It's worth the money sometimes to just invest in that. This is why some of the teachers will teach me, including talking about investing money, right? In manifesting money. So if you don't have the money, then manifest it. That's what you should be doing. You should be putting that energy there and try to manifest money, so that money will come from somewhere. Put that intention there, because it's again your higher self that's the boss. So if you cannot afford healing sessions with healers and stuff like that, then ask your higher self and say, okay, I want to work with this particular person. This person charges that. Get me this particular amount of money from somewhere, so that I can book that session with that person and go and heal, right? So, and your higher self will make sure that happens. The money will come from somewhere. I hear the stories all the time, those ones that actually do that. It has happened to me as well, where I put that intention, as well, and yeah, the money does show up from somewhere, and I end up getting some sort of healing. So it works. It's the if you actually are in the right alignment, it will actually work. So yeah, it's only working with healers that will expedite all that stuff. So and I don't say just work with healers, but mix and match everything. But if you're just doing this little things, it's not going to be the same thing and expect that it's going to be miracle, right? You get what you pay for. So it'll only take you so much somewhere. Okay, another question Shamil has: is it true that the good and bad portals open on Halloween and are in battle? That's not safe for us to go out. Well, there's no such thing as bad anything unless you make it to be, right? So I know that the veil is the thinnest in the Halloween season, so this is why it's so auspicious. And the moon energies are there too, so it's never unsafe, and I don't know what safe is or not. I know that this year people had restrictions on COVID. If I had kids, I wouldn't have taken them out on COVID pandemic situation. So that's probably the only time again, you got to look at the weather and all that sort of thing, right? You got to look at the situation. If the world is in pandemic, then yeah, keep your kids safe at home, right? You don't want to be exposing them to unnecessary things if they don't have to. It's been a very horrible year for the whole world, but everybody is dealing with that, right? It's not just North America or just wherever, you know, wherever you are in the part of the world, you know, everybody had to be affected by that. So yeah, Halloween has, you know, no significance. You know, I know Hollywood made some really interesting horror movies with that, but that's just all fiction. And, you know, I just take it as that it's just fiction stuff, and entertain yourself. And that's it. You know, it's, energy is bad if you allow it to be, right? You know, so it's up to you, how you perceive Halloween and all that sort of thing. If it's something that you were afraid of as a child and didn't enjoy it, then that's something that you can heal as an inner child. But yeah, I don't think that Halloween is unsafe in any way. I don't think any days actually of the year particularly is unsafe. Even Friday the 13th, you know, like a lot of people associate that as bad omen, and we just had Friday the 13th, and you know, nothing. I don't know. You have to tell me in the comments if you had a bad experience on Friday the 13th. I never did in my entire life, so you know, it's just a day. It's nothing to be afraid of, right? So, okay. Can you have a twin flame who reincarnated after losing them? Yes, I want to say that. There has only been one, and she was a client of mine, so I can't, you know, divulge too much information because it's confidential. But you know, I think that that is the case. Yeah, it's very rare, but it can, and why can't it? So you know, especially if you know, it's been a bit of a gap. Like, you know, if it's been 25-30 years of gap and they reincarnate and bam, you know, and you're still alive, yeah, sure it can. Yeah. It's very rare though, but yes, it can. Why do I see many people that resemble my twin flame during separation? I already answered that question. So it's because your higher self is reminding you of your twin flame, you know, and that's why I don't believe when people want to say that, oh, they're twin flames, and then bam, you know, they just want to leave the journey. Because, yeah, go ahead and try it and see what that's like. There's no such thing, you're stuck. Because once you're a twin flame awakened, that's it. Life is over. You know, you're not going to be able to go back to the other life. Either you're a twin flame or you're not. Either you're a twin flame that's living a twin flame experience, or you're simply not. You know, don't make things, and don't make things up. You know, it's either this or that. It's no in between. And for those that are true hardcore twin flames that have been in the journey for 20 plus years or 15 years or 10 years or 3 years, you know what I say, because that is so freaking true, isn't it? You know, like, I've been in this journey for 3 years, and I cannot imagine going back to that rubbish life that I had before this. You know, that's all it was garbage. Right? So, you know, I'm gonna say that once you're a twin flame awakened and you're you know, shifting your consciousness, you know, it's you cannot go back. You know, it's what it is. So yeah, I hope that this was, I know it was a lengthy video, this will almost be 2 hours, I want to say, but I hope that you guys had fun. This was Twin Flame Union that brought all their answers. You know, this was lengthy, but then, you know, you are asking a Twin Flame teacher, so I'm gonna give you lengthy answers. Enjoy, and I'll try to do another one down the road, something similar like this. I actually did end up asking all the questions, so it is what it is.